Thank you so much for coming out and making this contribution to our organization and a commitment to learn more about who we are and what we do. Today is very special. It's our Recognition Awards Luncheon.
I think Tourette's is a unique disorder that really everyone should know about.
A lot of my friends at school don't really know what it is, so if I were to tell them that I know someone who has Tourette syndrome, they'd ask me what it is, what it's about, how do you get it, how do you get rid of it, why do you have it, why do you get it, is it contagious?
Most people know what Tourette syndrome is. It's few and far between when I come across somebody that has not heard of it or doesn't know the ramifications of it.
Tourette syndrome is a neurological disorder.
A neurological disorder characterized by tics.
Everybody gets tics. Everybody can have tics.
Motor and vocal tics.
That people can't help but make. And movement.
They're involuntary rapid movements that we do not have control over. And that's the most important thing for people to know, is that what we do, we're not doing to get attention from people. It's the fact that we can't control that.
It is a volatile energy that can either be, it can be in any type of level of intensity.
Anxiety, for example. Everyone gets anxious. Everyone panics at times. Everyone gets upset. But most of the time it happens this part of a scale that's, this long.
The greater the level of intensity of energy, the more discipline it will require to manage it.
When I started, doctors would not diagnose you unless you were cursing. And cursing is a very tiny percentage of Tourette's. It's what we call TV Tourette's, because of course it's interesting to TV viewers to see someone cursing. The rest of the Tourette's population is relatively boring to people, because eye blinking is the most common tic.
Once you see it, it's one of those things. You buy a blue car because you don't think anybody has one, and then as soon as you drive away, everybody has a blue car.
Tourette's is something Tourette's is something that I'm guessing probably that Tourette's is something that you make movements with your body and make noises that you can't help or control.
Tourette syndrome is not a sexy disorder.
Tourette syndrome is an ooh disorder, whereas others are an awe disorder or affliction.
People often say, why do I want to help someone who hurts me or who offends me?
The latter is tragic, where Tourette syndrome is awkward. It's disturbing. The tics are socially unacceptable.
The nature of Tourette syndrome is that it waxes and wanes, it comes and goes, and people that have a severe case of it don't know whether they're going to wake up with it the next day or whether they're going to be calm. And I remember that uncertainty growing up. The uncertainty of, is it going to be coming with a vengeance tomorrow? Will I be grinding my teeth? Will I be rubbing my face like this till it's raw? It's a scary prospect.
When I was 15 years old, I went to my parents and I said, you need to lock me up. I need to be put in an institution because I'm a danger to myself or to others. There were things going on that were completely out of control. Remember, I was undiagnosed and I didn't know what was going on, but I knew that something was wrong.
There's something about body movement, the breaking of social taboos that upsets people and disturbs them in a way, say, cancer, for example, wouldn't. And It isn't life-threatening. Tourette syndrome isn't life-threatening. It's quality of life.
Peace out to the world. Be friends with people with Tourette's.
Where are your parents?
In the meeting.
What are they doing in the meeting?
In a meeting. Talking about Tourette's. Listening to speeches and lectures. And boring stuff.
A conference is usually very passive, where you sit down in a chair, you accept information, and you walk away.
This conference does a couple of things. It helps first-time families whose children, let's say, have just been diagnosed with Tourette's. It helps them to first learn about Tourette's, but also then form social network, if you will, with other families who are experiencing the exact same thing.
Being a parent of a child with Tourette syndrome, you don't feel like you have much control at all. And so it's one way of giving yourself that bit of power.
They're already talking the way we would have liked to have talked, but weren't able to for so many years because we flat out didn't know what to do. And now there's information and there's help and there's people to talk to.
Everyone here really knows what everyone's dealing with. Like, you feel really comfortable with everybody.
The human connection, the being present with other humans that are in your shoes, that do understand who you are, is a very common, it's very accepting place to be, a very normalizing place to be. That cannot be substituted with an internet screen.
And what I always tell people is, don't be afraid of it. Embrace it. This is what we have. These are the cards we're dealt. But you'll feel better after going to it, because you'll have, and the key is education. You'll know what it's, you're not alone, number one.
The power of learning from other people. Like, even when here I am, the expert, and I talk to people, and I walk into a room today, and I was there for 5 minutes, and I learned something else. And it's something that I'm going to throw into my presentations that I do.
It gives me a little more credibility too, because I've been through it. I'm going through it. When I tell the parents it's going to be okay, you can work this out, I'm speaking from a place of experience.
They've done research recently on parents with children with disabilities. And what they found is that they have a shorter life if they are isolated by themselves with their children. But if they get into a community, the kids do better, the parents do better, and they actually live a healthier, longer life.
You get something back that money can't buy. The success stories and the progress are just magic, and you get so much out of that.
I have hope from their story.
I walk away just feeling like I'm more part of a community, and I really like to help the other mothers because I've been at this a few years, and I really like speaking to the parents whose children were newly diagnosed.
There is a foundation of Tourette syndrome in Korea. They've just started the foundation, so I want to deliver this atmosphere of this conference to my friends in Korea. They'll be glad.
I'm here with my people. I'm here with people with Tourette syndrome that have learned to deal with this, and some people have very mild cases and some have very severe cases.
I'm really relaxed when I'm in a group of people who have Tourette syndrome. It's kind of strange. Some people who have Tourette's get a little more fired up when they're with other people with Tourette's, and I actually get settled down because I kind of let them do the Touretting and ticking for me.
I've come to this conference this weekend, and I've learned new things already. How to become more nutritionally healthy, to combat the tics, not to rely on medication as much.
Well, my main reason for being at this conference was to get the in-service workshop, which enables me to go into schools and community groups and provide education on Tourette's.
There are no girls in our group. If there's any girls with Tourette's out there, come next year.
The best part of the conference for me was swimming and meeting Nathan and Mitchell. And the second best part is going around scaring me.
I'd like to share an experience from yesterday. For me so far, it was the highlight of the conference.
You going swimming tonight? Yeah.
My son Liam was in the pool with about 4 older boys. They're about 12, 13. And his way of dealing with feeling anxious or wanting people to like him is that he really provokes. And so he's going over and he's grabbing at them and pulling their hair and just being a goof.
Are you getting that?
Regular children, when that happens, they're pretty mean, or they'll laugh at him and make him feel stupid. And I was so amazed that these 4 boys, they were just so calm, and they just said, Liam, you need to stop that right now. We really like you, and we want to be with you. But, and we understand that because we have Tourette syndrome too. We all have Tourette syndrome here. And they said it so beautifully, we all have it, and we understand that, but you just really can't do that. And I was so touched because I went up to the boys after and I just said, thank you so much. They were just so direct, but kind and loving and saying, we all have it, we get it. So that was my favorite moment.
Within the many good things that Judy did while working as a volunteer for our foundation, there lies a small but significant rule that she left for us to follow, and that was concerning our kids. It's kids with TS, not TS kids.
Any parent will do whatever they can to help their child. There's a great feeling of satisfaction when you feel like you're actually contributing to a cause, especially a cause that's personal. Zach was 6 years old, and he was in grade 2 when he was assessed at his school by a psychologist as having a severe learning disability.
Grade 1, teacher took my desk, put it right back in the back of the room, right next to her, so where she could keep an eye on me all day. In grade 4, I had my mouth taped shut a couple of times for blurting out just anything.
I wasn't really accepted in class by the teachers because I was misunderstood.
That mixed in with starting a new school, not knowing people, they don't know you have Tourette's. It's questioning whether you should tell them, how long do you wait to tell them, should you bother telling them? There's so many different things that you think of, and you have to figure out the best way to handle them, and that can be very stressful in itself.
And I could have had an in-service done when I was younger for my school, but I was too ashamed and in denial of my Tourette's that I didn't want anyone to know or judge me about it, so I just kind of kept it a secret. And that made it even worse.
I had self-abusive behaviors, and it was very severe to the point that I couldn't go to high school the last 2.5 years.
I used to get kicked out of school for being disruptive in the classroom, making sexual remarks out loud, making disruptive noises, and I was often asked to leave the classroom and go to the principal's office.
My worst experience, grade 7, because I had anger, and then the cops came. So then, yeah, they had to take me to psych ward or something.
I get bullied a lot because I do it. They call me Miss Take a lot times. And that really hurts my feelings a lot.
Children love to provoke. They love to provoke and tease and push their buttons. And it's really cruel because they don't wish to be like that.
I got into a fight with with a kid in my class, and I called him I said a racial slur to him. He got mad and he slammed my face into the desk.
I was skateboarding one time with my friends, and this one guy comes up to me, he goes, hey, can I see your skateboard? And I said no. They actually came up to me and said, why are you fingering me? Are you giving me the finger? And I said, no sir, I've got Tourette's. He says, do it again, which triggered it again. And I went like this, fucking it, and he punched me right in the lip.
They weren't familiar with it, so generally if someone's not familiar with something, they tend to be afraid of it or uncertain. So I guess the result was social excommunication, from the group at large.
I tended to be a hermit in my room because of the being teased. Some kids are grounded by their parents for punishment. I was like, go out and play with the kids outside. No, I don't want to do that, I'll get teased.
When I hit university, it was a whole different playing field, and that's when I realized that I had other learning difficulties that I didn't know about before.
So at the age of 23, having Tourette syndrome, and I felt I knew who I was, and I was confident, and I was healthy and doing well, and then suddenly when I had this diagnosis, I started doubting myself, and it was a really a dark time, if you will.
I try to suppress as much as I can, but it's not the best thing to do, obviously, because it'll make it worse, obviously. Usually when I go home, I let them all out. And I make holes in the walls, and like, it's really hard.
It really affects the home life. I think our family dynamics are so insane because he has an older brother that's 4 years older, and his older brother doesn't have any disorders. He's popular and athletic and does well in school, and I think having that constant comparison to himself has caused a lot of problems.
We also have 2 other younger children at home who could not understand why our son Zach was doing the things that he was doing.
We either had to be close and connected to each other, or we were going to, the family as a unit was going to be destroyed. It was really clear to me that there was a moment where we could have fallen apart, but primarily through Mom and Dan's efforts, we stayed together as a unit, and that was the big difference.
As a parent living with now young adults with Tourette's, I can only tell you that there are definitely great days and bad days, but for the most part, he is an incredible person. He follows his dreams. He's busy and active and doesn't let anything get in his way. And that in of itself is amazing, whether you have Tourette's or not.
Say I'm about to do something and I'm going through, my tics are really high, and I say something negative, they'll be like, Ian, don't say that. Got to stay positive all the time if you want to get through this. You're not going to go anywhere if you're negative all the time, because if you're saying negative stuff, that negative stuff probably will happen. So they say stay positive and just keep pushing through.
It's making me a better person to have a brother with it.
I think I used to be more judgmental, and I think now I don't judge any other parent. You know, I always just assume there are other factors, and I don't assume that they're not being good parents.
With other people with neurological disorders or not, I'm much more patient and understanding with these people. And I'm not always blaming people, but trying to help them.
An average day can be very stressful or it can be very calm. It depends on what's going on in my life. Stress is definitely my #1 trigger for my tics.
Mostly when I'm focused on doing something or I really want to do it, my tics go away.
Yes, the focus that I put into music is a concentrated focus burst of my internal energy.
If I'm engaged in something that I have a true passion for, my tics diminish.
What does make it better when I work out, when I go to the gym, when I pump some weights, when I jog, when I go BMXing, bike riding.
My music. I play drums.
Playing lots and lots of soccer and hockey.
I can prevent it kind of by before I'm going on, just go outside and take some deep breaths and just be like, it's just for fun.
Music is one of my big hobbies. Poetry gets me along, writing my journal.
Dancing and listening to music.
I write about the struggles I've been through. I write about some fun times I've had in different places, and I also write about things that are happening in the world that I don't really understand fully about, but I want to.
Art. I'm all about art.
I'm all about science and math and geometry.
Oh, I love anything that includes math or thinking.
I'm a mathaholic.
Usually I never use my head. Usually I do.
And language arts.
When I say use my head, I mean use my head.
You draw with your head?
Yeah. Did you know I have a hole in my head?
What? Can I see it?
Now I know.
Sisters have fun with this. So, how are you enjoying it? You know, in comparison?
I'll tell you one thing. I'm not any different than anyone else in this world.
I was gonna say, anyone who says that having Tourette's or OCD or something makes you a freak or not normal or weird or something, is wrong. Everyone has something. If you don't have anything, then you're not the normal one.
Guys, you should have brought your swim trunks. It's lunchtime. Let's go. Yeah. Bye.
I know, Kate.
What is normal? I'm not too sure what the word means really, because there's nowadays what is normal.
I don't know what normal is. Like, I don't think there is a normal, because like no one's normal. Like, because everyone's different in their own way, and it kind of makes everyone unique. So I don't think normal is really a good word. Being normal means getting along with everybody and just basically letting them fit in. It doesn't matter what you have.
Normal
means normal.
I think that means Tourette syndrome or not, you're still normal. So it doesn't any disability, you're still normal. It doesn't make you unnormal having a disability.
All of us are mostly normal. You know, we have a disability, but it's actually a small percentage of who we are, a small percentage of our activities during the day. Most of what we do is well within what is normal. You know, we fight, we have arguments, we love, we do all these things that we do are not skewed by the disabilities that we have. You know, that they are just normal as normal is.
I really don't see normal as being calm and quiet and peaceful and boring. Notice the way I put those things together. For us, normal is that we live life despite the difficulties.
I think it's all about looking for the ability, not the disability.
The word disability doesn't apply to a person who has differences or challenges. It's what society, or how society sees that person, that makes them disabled.
They have to learn about themselves and accept other people. It's not just Tourette syndrome. People in general just have to open their eyes to people around them. Some people are just very narrow. That's just a fact of life.
Because a lot of people don't have those checks and balances, and they just go through. We call them normies, and you know, at times I feel sorry for them because they don't have cause to stop and reflect about how they're doing in life.
I can deal with like the stares, the comments. I just ignore it now. So a lot of people have difficulties with that, no matter what they have. But I guess dealing with it my whole life, you learn to accept it and move on.
My message to the general public is take all the preconceived notions that you may have about Tourette syndrome and just throw them right out the window. Most people know about TS by what Hollywood wants to tell us about TS.
Where we see the coprolalia and the severe tics, whereas they're likely people who see TS all the time and don't realize it.
I know that there are stereotypes against Tourette's, so I don't want people to think that something's about me that's not true, so I won't make assumptions about other people.
I think that they need to understand that Tourette syndrome is just such a complex disorder that no two people with Tourette syndrome look or act the same.
Someone might be, tapping or moving their leg or shaking their leg, or I can't sit still, for example, making, just twitching out. And all you have to do is just kind of think about it. Maybe they might have Tourette's.
Try to make some friends that have Tourette's. It means a lot to them.
And just ask them, are you okay? Do you have Tourette's?
And treat them with respect, because they can't control what they're doing. What's the point of trying to make them stop if they can't?
Don't laugh at the kids. Pay attention to them and learn from them. Have respect for the people who have Tourette. And you know what? Mostly in our society, people are respectful. And I think a lot of people know when they see someone with Tourette syndrome. But sometimes it can be quite a surprise. But you know what? There's a lot to be learned just by watching them and how they conduct themselves, because it's quite a burden at times. And to see someone get up every day with that burden and face it and get through the day, I think that's worthy of respect.
For those who have Tourette's, I would suggest being as open as possible. I hid from it for the first 20 years of my life, and I realized it makes it so much easier when people know, because generally once they know why you do what you do and that you can't help it, they're fine with it. They just look past it and they like you for who you are as a person.
Usually how people treat you depends on how you treat other people and how you treat yourself. Respect, if you respect yourself, instead of putting yourself down and everybody else up, then they will respect you.
You have this invisible thing inside you. You can't see it, you can't feel it, you can't taste it, you can't touch it. It's called potential.
Try to be as comfortable with yourself as you can, because if you have a positive outlook and enthusiasm,
and it's up to us to bring it out, and I say max it out,
then other people will jump on for the ride and say, hey.
That impassions me, that attitude towards the disorder, towards enlightening society.
So if you have a I can do it attitude,
something positive is going to come back to you.
So it depends on how you're going to deal with things that makes all the difference. It's not so much the problem itself as your reaction to the problem.
You got a whole life ahead of you.
Find a passion, find your bliss.
Pursue your dreams and just keep going at it and live life to the fullest.
But I see us moving forward where people are being more spiritually minded and realizing that we're all connected, they're all one.
Celebrate people's uniqueness and differences as opposed to being hard about them or criticizing them. And that's a great lesson to learn in life.
Now it's time for society to wake up, to accept and understand those with the disorder, and to create a better society from that understanding.
The best part is that over these last 2.5 days, I have felt so much positive energy from all of you. And we have come, I've seen us come from why me, poor me, to this is me and I like me. And I'm just so privileged to be part of that. Thank you so much.